my job is we have a base of customers. I have a base of 50 customers that
Okay.
range the monthly billing revenue ranges anywhere from, $20,000 a month up to, 150, $200,000 a month. Um, and they're, premier customers, so they're our largest customers. They could have, anywhere from one location up to, 100 locations.
Mm,
So some of those accounts I manage healthcare. I manage retail. I manage government. I mean, I manage my accounts kind of are very flavorful. So there's different verticals that I manage, and so I've had to adapt quickly to each vertical's their requirements, right? Healthcare's HIPAA compliance. Understanding how that applies to their IT infrastructure. Then you have
mm,
retail, and they have the PCI compliance requirements that they need to make sure that they follow, and we have to understand that and speak to it a little bit, right? And then you have government, and government has their policies and requirements. So we do respond to RFPs, or requests for proposals, um,
mhm.
for any any changes they need to make. But that's in a big part of my job is basically to be the trusted advisor. Be their but kind of like their
First point
kind
of
of like the
contact?
I'm sorry.
I said first or primary point of contact for your customers.
Yes, first point of contact, the quarterback. I manage
Mhm.
the entire account, right? I build a relationship. They trust me. They have to trust me. I'm married to their account, so anything
Mm,
that they need, they come to me first. If there's a technical problem, I help escalate those issues. I make sure that I work with different departments to get technical challenges, billing challenges, get all of those resolved. And I'm an advocate, so I advocate for all of my customers. I've had a very
mm,
high customer satisfaction. I have not had a single customer at request to be taken off the account, which is good. um,
mm.
and because a lot of my colleagues, they do get kicked off accounts, and I haven't had a single one since I've been. Um, I as I mentioned, I've excelled at every single one of our products. I've sold almost every product at our company that we could possibly sell. But the two
Mm.
biggest ones that they really are pushing is our hosted voice. It's our UCX is client. It's a UCX is what they name it, but it's
Mhm.
the industry name or standard for it. What they call it is UCAS, so
Okay.
UCAAS. Um, and I was the top performer in Premiere
Mhm.
for the most UCAS sales for 2018,
Okay.
and then I
Mhm.
was also the top performer in uh, our SD-WAN, which is software defined wide area network, but it's
Mhm.
abbreviated as SD-WAN. Um,
Mhm.
and our SD-WAN is basically I work with a lot of our customers to implement that and can move them from MPLS to SD-WAN, and as well as provide a hybrid wide area network infrastructure. So I was the number one performer for that too, which is really cool. And the cool thing is I actually have a I was they wrote my name, and my manager wrote all of this in like a book at President's Club with my
Mhm.
picture. So I have a snapshot of that I can. I mean, I guess I can't really post that on my resume, but it would be cool to be able to like kind of maybe use what he said
Mm,
and
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
use it.
If there's a recommendation, I would think that will be great. And you can also
Yeah,
use a visual on your LinkedIn if I mean if it's not confidential or something, you can. That's a very good LinkedIn material that you can use.
yeah, okay, yeah. The I haven't yeah. So I
So
So
one question,
my
Michael, one
Mhm.
question before we move on. So the products, the two products that you just mentioned, could you share those business values, if possible? Because you mentioned that these are two key products, right?
Yeah,
Do you have an idea of the business value that they have?
actually, there's a third product too. I'm sorry. So there's a third one, which
Mhm.
is a managed firewall. So that's our security line of products. So network
Okay.
security, managed security. Um, so my business strategy, the way I approach and how I've been able to get customers to, first of all, open up. Right. It's a very sensitive
Mhm.
topic when you're talking to an IT director or IT manager about potentially outsourcing some of the workload. So the strategy I've taken and that's worked for me is
Mhm.
my number one goal is always to provide 100% excellent customer service to the client. I let them know I'm not trying. We don't go with the let's sell you something approach, however that can
Mhm.
be worded. But it's more, what can I do to help you? What can I do to provide, a better service? What kind of changes? Or one of the first things I do when I get an account assigned to me is I tell them, I say, I said, what from your experience, what did you like about your previous account manager, and what do you think could be done better? And I try to gauge to see what maybe there's an area that they don't like. For example, maybe the previous account manager, reached out too often, and I've seen that happen where they're trying to push certain things on them, and they don't like that. Or maybe sometimes they're like, what, my account manager was not engaged enough. So I
Mhm.
learn from I get feedback from them in the very beginning, and then I make notes of it. I make proper notes. I have a folder for each one of my customers to track. I use Evernote, which is to make all my notes, all my customer meetings, on-site visits, every phone call, every email, any sort of communication. I create a log of it in Evernote that I've done this. I've gone out and met with them and whatnot. We have company CRMs too, but I use Evernote because it's for me personally to go back
Mhm.
and see a history of what my last interaction was with the client. And when I do that, well, how that benefits the customer is, it allows me to make sure that whatever they told me that I treat them that way, and now suddenly, they like that, and they find trust in me because they know I'm not trying to push a product. Once I start resolving their problems, so a lot of times I'll
Mhm.
get accounts that were damaged, damaged goods by other previous sales reps, or people sold them things that they didn't really order. So I end up, cleaning up the account, making sure that they're 100%, satisfied with the level of service,
Mhm.
what they've purchased, and then what I do is, once I do that, they open up and they start talking to me and willing to meet and have a ongoing dialogue about everything. And when I go out there, I just make sure I have the right team with me. So based on my conversations on the phone with them, I know, I know personalities, is important, personality traits, and knowing what kind of, audience I'm speaking to. I bring the right type of solutions architect or sales engineer, knowing their knowledge against the knowledge of, my customer based on, so I
Mhm.
don't make quick, unless the customer wants me to come out the next day, I don't make quick, like, decisions to meet with them. So I usually wait a good, few weeks to a month to better understand my customer, and then and then usually that then leads to a relationship of trust and a mutual
Mhm.
trust. I trust them, they trust me, and now we have a long-standing relationship. And now they come to me for everything. We talk. I tell them my background. I let them know that I was, in IT before. So they like that.
Mhm.
They like knowing that I wasn't just a salesperson, my entire career, but that I have some IT background, that I have walked in their shoes. So I have the customer hat on because I used to be a customer as well. And so that helps, that part of it. And then, um, eventually what'll happen is, I'll start talking about, what they're doing today, to, manage their phones, how much
Mhm.
staff, I'll ask the critical questions about, how much staff do they have to support? Do they feel, I ask open-ended questions about, what, do they, what are they doing today that they feel they could do better? And also, do they want to, is this something, I start getting on more a close ended where start asking, drilling down and saying, is this something that they want to continue to do? Do they want to continue on the path of, you know, struggling with supporting all these end users? Do they want to look at, having a partner come in to help with that so that they can focus on more important things like, whether it's their firewalls, whether it's, their other budget on, spend their money on other things that are more important. And
Mm.
so they from that they like the conversation how it leads, and then we end up talking about firewalls. We'll start talking about hosted voice, because voice is a lot of customers are hearing about hosted voice, and they've been nervous to move their PBX phone system
Mm.
to the cloud. So we provide a very fully functional. We use BroadSoft, is the platform that we use, and
Mm.
the phone type that we use is Polycom. Polycom. I can email some of this stuff to you if you need me to. Like if the because some of these terminologies might be not terminology, but
Yeah.
some of these companies might be like say proprietary to that no many people don't know about unless they're in that industry. So
Mm.
I'm happy to send it in an email. But at the end of the day, I mean, ultimately, it's all about just trying to build trust with my clients. And once I do
Mm.
that, then it's easy. The sell is so easy. I mean, they come to me and they trust me and they just want to buy from me. And then I don't even try to sell them. I don't need to sell them. It's just, it happens. And I think that happens from just, being honest with them, and I don't believe in,
Mm.
I don't believe in like the you sell them something and you walk away approach because, you want to be honest. I've had to turn away customers and say many times where, I said, it's not a good fit. I think that you guys should look at, a competitor because their pricing is going to be, because they're they're price conscious. And I recommend, that they go to competitor for one or two items, and then I say we take care of the rest. And so, broadband speeds or internet speeds or whatever, I tell them to go directly to the cable provider instead of allowing us to resell it. It might be better and quicker for them to go that way. So I use different strategies like that, but none of that stuff probably is gonna need. I don't know if any of that stuff